Hey guys, what's up? My name is Dean, and today we're going to talk about how I throw my curveball. So for those of you who have not seen it, and for those of you who have seen it, I'm just going to go ahead and play a few clips of my curveball here real fast. So this was the pitch that really got me through pro ball. It's what made me be successful in pro ball. I didn't throw super hard like 90-93, but this curveball helped me do well. So like most of you guys, when I first started throwing off-speed pitches, the first thing that a coach started with me was the grip. And after they taught me a grip, they told me things like pull down a lampshade or karate chop or something like that. Ultimately, I wasn't concerned about what it felt like. I was concerned about what was actually going on. No one could tell me what was actually going on. And it's funny now that I look back at it, the people who did tell me what was actually going on were wrong. They weren't actually correct in what they were saying. So that kept me thinking and trying to learn. And eventually I saw a bunch of guys doing slow motion video work with their pitches. And that was something that I really wanted to do because it shows me exactly what's happening and I can make adjustments and establish a feel to exactly what's happening. So at first, when I first started throwing my curveball, it looked a lot like this. So as you can see, the seams are just kind of jumbled and spinning. The spin just looks really random. It's hard to actually tell what's happening. So step one for me was to get it to kind of spin pretty. So I adjusted my hand on the ball from having my finger so far up on the seams to my finger kind of in the middle of those four seams. And then once I did that, I threw the pitch and it ended up looking like this. So once I had it kind of spinning pretty, but the axis wasn't right, what I did then was just played with my wrist angle and tried to figure out how does it have to be exactly to get that forward spin. So after, I don't know, maybe 5-10 minutes of playing around with it, this is how it came out. So, and one side note, when I throw in bullpens or when I throw on the side or stuff like that, the lower my intensity level, usually the lower my arm slot is. So you'll notice in games, or in that game footage that I showed earlier, my arm slot was much higher. That's just because I'm trying to throw harder. So in these videos, you'll also notice that means that the axis becomes tilted to the side as well, which is fine. I'm just looking for getting the spin right, and the axis will tilt over how it should be when I throw really hard. Basically, the axis will match, the angle of the spin axis will match the angle of my arm. So as my arm starts to get higher and higher as I'm throwing harder and harder, the spin axis will get more vertical from being on the side. And that's basically it, guys. There's really not a whole lot to it. Curveball is a super easy pitch to get right if you have slow motion work or if you have access to a slow motion camera. Let me know any questions you may have, any cameras that you should be able to do this slow motion work with an iPhone. You should be able to do it with like 240 frames per second with an iPhone. So guys, that was how I developed my curveball and the things I focus on right now when I throw it. Just making sure I get that spin axis right. And when you get the spin axis right and you pair that with it spinning average to relatively fast, that's when you get a really good pitch. So go ahead, like and comment, subscribe. Any questions you may have, shoot them my way and I'll do my best to answer them for you. And thanks for watching.